For our Unit 1 Food History and Agricultural Revolution, the questions that were given were: how did the development of agriculture transform human societies? What constraints or limits did agriculture pose? And what opportunities did it open up? When you look at the global range of food practices, do you notice more similarity or more diversity? The development of agriculture did not just change how humans obtained food. It reorganized our society, our economy, our biology, and even our culture. It was able to do this by creating a surplus of food, which also had sedentism, which created specialization, population growth, inequality, and environmental changes. It imposed constraints on diet, labor, and ecological sustainability. However, while it did this, it also opened up new opportunities for culture and complexity. This was shown to us when we watched both episodes of the documentary History of Food. Agriculture shifted human adaptation by changing settlement practices. Foragers moved, farmers ended up staying, making permanent villages, which then later became towns, and then after that, then later even cities, making, farming more producible so populations could expand more. The surplus in food allowed for specialization to occur, which is what you see now in our day-to-day lives. My mom, for example, is a logistics planner, and I work in medical laboratory diagnostic testing. Both specialized because agriculture gave us the ability to put our energy elsewhere. With farming came domestication, which is also unfortunately the reason why we have new zoonotic diseases to spread. But it also fortunately allowed us to have new biological and cultural ties to our environment for that to occur. This is also what allowed milk, meat, and labor animals to help reshape our diets and economies, which is where chapter 1 from our book comes in. It explained to us how human social, political, and religious structures also play a part in shaping our food systems. Seeing how these things shaped our economies through control of irrigation, through waterways, storage, who's allowed to store things, where they're allowed to store things, then taxation. Who gets taxed, how much they get taxed, who gets a break, who doesn't get a break. This also shows a bit when you look into the laws of why you cannot have open available fruit trees in cities. Most will say because of the mess it makes and how much it takes to clean it up. But in reality, it ends up coming down to controlling who has access to certain foods and not making them free. With the change in ties to our environment also came the impact of irrigation. Soil depletion, deforestation. Deforestation itself is still a huge problem today and continues to grow as humans take more and more from the earth without giving back at even a fraction of what they're taking. And what we should be giving back, honestly. For instance, the largest AI data center is about to be built in central Ohio, which will increase the depletion of fresh water here, which is already a concern for urban areas due to the aging water infrastructure that we have requested for over a decade now to have money allocated towards from our federal government. But we're only allocated so much, and it's not just for water, fixing our waterways. It's also for other socioeconomic issues. Some of the limits that this has produced, some of the limits that agriculture has produced is a more narrow diet. Yeah. Due to, having few staple crops, since there is more sedentism from farming, there is more waste accumulation, which in turn allows for higher proximity to pathogens, which creates epidemics, which you're seeing right now. Currently in the US, we're having a cyclospora outbreak all over the nation. That is because we can't find the source of it. They're saying fruits and vegetables. But as a microbiologist, we still don't have the source of it. It's also not the only outbreak we're having right now. We're having one with Giardia and we're having one with E. coli. And when you look at the global range of food practices, I see both. I see more similarity and more diversity. Most of the world relies on a small little set of staple domesticated crops. However, at a cultural level, it's very diverse. Each area preps, seasons, cooks, and expresses these staples differently in their diets. Rice can be used in sushi, risotto, for example. Wheat, pita, naan, pasta, tortillas, corn, polenta, cornbread. These different uses show a reflection of diversity due to trade routes, ecology, and cultural identity.